Should you impose your morality on others? Frank Turek seems to think so, but he does so by asserting that, hey, everybody else does it, why shouldn't he? I don't know, Frank, if everybody else was jumping off a bridge, would you do it too? If I told you that everybody else was, would you give it a try? Please, give it a try. It's been a while since we checked in with Frank Turek. Now, I'm always stuck with what to do with these big-name apologists. If I don't talk about them, people ask why I don't talk about them. And if I do a couple of videos, then people complain. But let's be honest, they're such fertile ground for absurdity that it's really kind of hard to ignore them. They're a one-stop shop for all of the things wrong with religion. So really, what am I to do? This time, Frank is at a conference and is asked a question about imposing morality on others. And of course, he doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. Typical Frank. So, let's go look at his absurdity.
So lately I've kind of been struggling with pretty much being able to defend, like as a Christian, like we're supposed to, defend and love others, but how do we even what I think is awesome, like how Jack's doing, just promoting the law, exposing the types of bills and stuff to get us involved in government, voting and having that obligation as a Christian. How do we at the same time love and respect, the choices people have without forcing our beliefs onto them and making that into the law?
It would be nice if the religious could figure that out, because that's pretty much all they do today. Now, certainly, they're not alone. There are other groups out there taking their own emotionally derived beliefs and trying to force it onto everyone else, and they're all just as wrong. But this is where rationality has to come into the picture, and it's why all of these groups fail. You have to look at what the actual, demonstrable, objectively rational, and verifiable ramifications of these ideas are. You can't just pretend that because these are your beliefs and you're personally comforted by your beliefs, that therefore you have the right to push your beliefs on others. If they're not demonstrably true, if they're not objectively justifiable, then no. They should not be imposed onto society. Your feelings don't mean a damn thing. Knock it off. But let's see what nonsense Frank spews.
Well, actually, that's what everyone's trying to do. Everyone's trying to put their own beliefs into the law. All laws legislate morality. The only question is whose morality?
Only in the very loosest of terms. If you call everything morality, then yeah, I guess it's all morality. But that's only because of how you've chosen to define it. But the reason we have speed limits is because studies have shown that having such limits reduces accidents and fatalities. It's not because someone arbitrarily decided that this speed limit is moral and that speed limit is immoral. And if we look at most laws, they're not based on rules of conduct supposedly handed down from on high. They're actually based on reality. That's not morals, that's having a functional society. Come on, Frank, try to keep up.
So it's impossible not to legislate a moral position. The only question is whose moral position?
Real people? Reality? Not your religious fantasies. Reality. It doesn't matter to me how emotionally attached you are to the idea of an imaginary man in the sky. It isn't real, at least not objectively, and until it can be verified to be real, it should not be used to impose rules, especially absurd rules, on society as a whole. And that goes for everyone. As soon as your feelings start to get in the way of your rational mental processes, you need to be excused from the process of making rules for society. You've proven that you can't handle it.
And so what I try and tell people is, look, when they say, don't impose your morality on me, I say, first of all, why not? Would that be immoral?
It has nothing to do with morality. It has to do with creating a better, more stable, more rational society. I care only about societal health, and you, unfortunately, care only about your feelings. It's why you and your absurd religion have no place in politics. Come back when you learn to be smart.
See, because they're imposing their moral position on us when they say that.
No, we're not. Unless you think that wanting to live in a workable society is a moral position. Now, sure, I guess we could want to live in a third world shithole. You know, like most of the third world religious cesspools in the Middle East. Now, if that's what you want, no, just no. You are in the wrong country for that.
But secondly, the better answer is, this isn't my morality. I didn't make this stuff up. I didn't make up the fact that murder's wrong, that theft is wrong, that rape is wrong, that abortion's wrong, that men were made for women and women were made for men, and the best way to perpetuate and stabilize society is to value that relationship legally over any other sexual relationship. I didn't make any of this up. So it's not my morality, it's not your morality, it's the morality.
And you, Frank, you're a moron. While you may not have personally made that up, you did just buy into it without thinking about it at all. You did so because it makes you feel good. You never rationally considered any of it. I don't care how emotionally comforting it might be to you that these silly rules came from a magical man in the sky. That's absurd. Come back when you can prove that any of that is true. Not claim, not believe, not have faith. Prove with objective evidence. Because until then, you're no more impressive than some other lunatic saying that morality flows from the flying spaghetti monster. That belief doesn't get them any credibility, any more than anything that you have to say does.
It's the one Thomas Jefferson said was self-evident. It's the one the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 2 says, the Gentiles are not of the law written on their hearts. So I always point out, everybody's trying to impose a moral position, and I'm not trying to impose my moral position or your moral position. I'm trying to impose the moral position.
Again, prove it. Frank, this is why you spend so much time in this ridiculous religious echo chamber. You're not going to get anyone disagreeing with you like you would if you actually talk to non-believers. Because we're not going to take these ridiculous religious pronouncements seriously without proof, and we all know you simply have none. So you spend time on stage with other already deluded people spouting the accepted religious party line because you know that no one there is going to call you out on it. But I will, because you're an idiot.
Now, if I have that wrong, then correct me on it. But I'm trying to do the same thing Thomas Jefferson has done and the same thing the United States Constitution tries to do.
Then I'm telling you that you're wrong, and all the appeals to authority in the world aren't going to make you right. You know what might? Evidence. Proof. Something other than your flapping lips and emotional comfort. I don't care about those things. I care if the ideas that we put into practice actually, demonstrably improve society. If they make society more fair. If they make society smarter. If they make society a better place to be. And religion never does that. Never. Not ever. The only thing religion does is cover ignorance. It's for people who aren't smart enough to reason their way around the real issues that face humanity. The only places religion does well are the places where the people are the dumbest. And you want to turn the U.S. into one of those places. Fuck you, Frank. fuck you right up the ass. And this goes for everyone who looks at the world emotionally. They can't handle pragmatism. They can't handle realism. They can't handle reality. They can't just step back and realize that the best end goal for any society is freedom and responsibility. We need to focus on getting better, not on getting more pious or holier than thou, not on feeling better or pretending that we're all just wonderful people, but in actually getting better, accepting the truth because it is the truth, not because it makes you feel good. Your feelings don't matter, and so long as you pretend that they do, you're on the wrong side of rationality. But this is Frank we're talking about, so I guess that's hardly a surprise.
Bum